Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, where I bring you founders, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, executives, uh, artists, you name it, in crypto and blockchain globally. And today I have a repeat guest. I have an amazing guest. And I'm happy that he came back to the show this time. And his name is Geoff McCabe, and he's the founder of Divi, LetsGo, and the Lightning Works. Geoff, welcome.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here, and it's always been fun. You're a really good interviewer, and so it's always good. You ask good questions, and it's always a nice back and forth.
Awesome.
So it's
So
always enjoyable. Mm.
I hope that's enjoyable, and I hope it's enjoyable for our listeners today, and I'm sure it will be. The first question though is easy: is what is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing right now, which is working on Let's Go?
So it's actually not an easy question in my case because I've done so many different things. So I have a master's degree in physics. Then I started a jewelry and gift design and production company in China. I did that for 11 years. Um, I lived kind of part-time in China, and I did business all over the world in Bali and Korea and the Philippines. And then after that, I started a real estate company in Costa Rica where I moved. Then I started a yoga and wellness center, which I still have, and I still have the real estate company too. And I founded an eco village that became a project that I'm living in, that I'm sitting in right now. So it's I've done a whole bunch of different things. Also started a virtual reality blog, which became one of the top virtual reality blogs in 2012. I think we started, and we have um, after that I started a cryptocurrency called Divi in 2017. So I had this very wide range of backgrounds. Oh, and I own a chain of 30 retail stores at one point also. So the so I have this incredibly wide-ranging background of different types of businesses that I've done, and so I think it's actually one of my competitive advantages in the crypto industry is that I have this wide-ranging background and I can think very deeply about how to apply crypto and NFTs to all these different spaces that I have deep experience within. And I another advantage I had is because I've in all these businesses I've had to design so many different products, from real estate products to jewelry and everything in between. There's not many people in the crypto space that understand product design or even understand the ideas of branding, for example. And so I have deep experience in all this as well. It really gives me an advantage.
You have a great background, and I want to get into what's let's I want to get into what Let's Go is all about, and how you see that playing out, what it's about, and what makes it great.
See, um, I can start from a philosophical point of view. Right
Okay.
now, Bitcoin was created 2008 or released in 2009, and people have really fallen in love with this idea of freedom, of having freedom with money. But for years, the powers that be have bad-mouthed it, they've fought it, and they've created alternatives. And there's very scary alternative, the central bank digital currencies that are basically being legislated around the world, and big companies that are the trillion-dollar companies are all lining up to support these kinds of things. We're talking about permissioned systems that do smart contracts. They do all the stuff that was invented by the cryptocurrency movement to create new financial freedom. But in the background, all the banks and the governments and the people that control things are creating legislation to control all of this stuff too. And we can see it little by little with the things that politicians are saying in the United States on both sides of the aisle, what the SEC is doing. And there's a handful of people that are politicians that are fighting this, but um, we all know people like us that know people that love crypto but are also in the banking industry, that are part of Wall Street, know what's being built and what's being planned to kind of control and shut all this, not shut it all down, but control it in a way that's um, very much in favor of the people that are already running things and against the tenets of Bitcoin that the people in the space love. And a lot of people are not really aware of how important this is. And so one of the best ways I feel to have a system that's going to be legislated is to get crypto into the hands of as many people as possible, so that there's as many people already using it and that are benefiting from this system of decentralization, that they will fight harder to keep it, to keep all the legislation and the control and the the loss of privacy that's going to come. And it's very important. I mean, we're looking at a potential Orwellian future if central bank digital currencies are become the law of the land, and everybody's forced to use only them, because that means governments will know everything that everybody's doing and can shut anybody down that they don't like at any time. And this is so important now that we rapidly accelerate the adoption of cryptocurrency. And so what we have as a product to do exactly that, we have a 20-second onboarding, and it works within all the different chat apps people already use. So in order to get somebody into crypto now with our product, all you have to do is just type their phone number to the bot, and they get a link, they click the link, and they have their crypto, and they're onboarded. And it's the fastest system. Before this is probably 2 minutes and above. Now we're at 20 seconds, or it could be even less if you really want to do it fast. And it is so easy, right? So all the time right now, I'm, for friends and family, if I'm sitting across the table from somebody, they say, "Hey, do you have any Bitcoin? Do you have any crypto?" They're like, "No, I've been thinking about getting into it." And I'm like, "Hey, you want some?" They're like, "Yeah." And they always act like, "Oh, isn't it hard?" They've seen their friends using it. There's these complicated wallets and all this stuff. And I said, "Yeah, just what's your phone number?" And so I go, boop, 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 type in their phone number, and boom, they get a link right then. They click the link, and right there they have their crypto. And they're like, "Really? That's it?" Like, "Yeah, that's it. You have crypto. You now own crypto." And they're like, "Well, I've been told this is really hard, because of, like, crypto is supposed to be really hard, and like it used to be really hard. It's not, didn't have to be, but it's really hard." And they love it that they don't have to download an app. They don't have to learn anything. So then they asked me, like, "Well, how do I send it to somebody? Send it, how much do I have?" I said, "Well, just what would you think? Just type in what you think." Well, I want to know, my wallet. So we'll type in wallet. You type in wallet, and it'll basically list all the different wallets and all the different cryptos and how much they have, and it converts it into dollars. And if they type help, it'll show them how to change it from thinking in dollars to Canadian dollars or whatever global currency they have. And if they want to send it, I'm like, "Well, how would you send it? Like, just type it out." And so just type in send, for example, send 0.1 Bitcoin to, and just type in anybody's phone number in the world, and that person's gonna get a link and look at their crypto, and they'll be onboarded in the system. You can also do it where you can type in send $100 in Bitcoin to, and you put the person's phone number, or you put their username, or you can put their address. If they have a Bitcoin address, it'll send people that are not in the system Bitcoin. They don't have to be in our system to use the system. And it's just so ridiculously easy. Like the other day, somebody, and this happens to me every day, like one of my employees will say, "Oh, could you send me $100 in Divi," which is the cryptocurrency I'm founded of, that they're giving out. Like we're giving $5 in Divi to anybody that comes into our NFT comic book company. And I was like, "Okay." And I literally like click the WhatsApp button. I click the Divi Go bot, and I type in send $100 to, and in Divi to. I type fast, so that takes about 3 seconds. I hit enter, and then they get it. It's like, it is so much faster than if I had to go to a wallet. I would have to open the wallet, wait for the to happen, go in, and go through a bunch of different steps to get their address from them. They'd have to go find it. It's so easy. It's ridiculous, and you just don't want to use anything else after a while. So what we've done is we've built this bot, and it's a different bot for all the different social media and chat apps. So it works in Discord, it works in Signal, it works in Telegram, it works in WhatsApp. And WhatsApp's a big one because WhatsApp has like 90% adoption in many of the countries in the world that use crypto a lot, like in Nigeria or the Philippines. They're all using WhatsApp, right? So So they love it that they just instantly have crypto. You know, my mom used it. She's 79 years old. Anybody can use it and they can understand it because it's translating it all the time into dollars. They don't have to go look on an exchange what the exchange rate is. They don't have to worry about any of that. The other thing it does is it automatically stakes. So every day they get a little message in pool staking. So you get this little message every day. You earned 3 cents worth of staking today, and they don't have to do anything, right? It's automatically doing it. So they're earning money on their crypto all the time. It's an open source bot, and it's a whole ecosystem. So we have partners that are coming in that are building modules. We have modules for NFTs. We have on ramps. So, for example, we have a module that's being built for Simplex, for an on ramp. So people will be able to, if you want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you just type in buy at 1,000 in Bitcoin, and the little Simplex. What happens? Our bot communicates with Simplex and says, hey, there's somebody who wants to buy it. And Simplex will say, okay, well, if they want to buy, we need to know, we need to know who they are. We have to go through some KYC, whatever Simplex requires, depending on the different companies and what they do. We have exchange partners that are coming in. We're going to focus on KuCoin and Kraken probably because they have really good APIs, so people can access all of their crypto, buying and selling, checking balances within two very popular exchanges. People will be able to just swap. So it already works where you can pay phone bills for about 2 billion people in the world. We have access to systems where you can pay in crypto. Like right now, you can go with Bitcoin or Divi and say pay. You just literally just type in pay phone, and you put the phone number. It'll tell you whether it's part of the system, whether it can do it, and we can add more. So it's really, really useful, and it's one of these things that is just an evolutionary, massive step in usability over all the crypto systems before. And it's not just crypto, like we're taking a hybrid approach. So if it has NFTs already built into it, so you can mint NFTs in it. So if you want to mint an NFT, you type in mint, and it'll say, well, what network, and you say it'll say Polygon or whatever, and then it says upload your photo or take a photo, and you send the photo, and then it makes that image immediately into an NFT, and then it'll send you a link, and there it is on OpenSea. So it has a collection, and in the future we'll have multiple collections. You'll be able to create a collection, and it makes it so easy to hold NFTs. So I have another company that is doing comic books, trading cards, and this kind of stuff. And kids will be able to do this in WhatsApp. They don't have to download an app to have it. They just talk to the bot, and it'll show them all the stuff they have. They can organize it in different ways and collect all their NFTs right within the chat apps they're already using, just using basic text commands in any different language. It's really incredibly revolutionary. So I want to I'm glad you're getting a chance to talk about it. Everyone that sees it is just like blown away. All these OGs in the space that have seen it are just like, wow, this is what we've been waiting for Bitcoin, for the adoption of cryptos. And it's really like truly an answer that can bring in the next billion people. And like I said, I think this is incredibly important technology to avoid an Orwellian future, a potential Orwellian future. In many ways, it's like Libra, right? Facebook had this Libra project to give people easy access to their own crypto. The idea was so powerful that the governments came down and immediately shut it down. Well, what we're doing is much better because it doesn't work just in Facebook apps; it works in all the other apps as well. And it's not all your favorite currencies, and it's fiat currencies too. I mean, we'll be able to access bank accounts and NFTs, any type of value that's digital. We basically are going to have it in there. We're not trying to force everybody to only use crypto or something like that. We want it to be as useful a product as possible. We just think that crypto needs to be an important part of the world's financial ecosystem, and that the best way to do that is to get it into the hands of and actually usable to a billion or more people.
So that's awesome. I do have a next gen question regarding the WhatsApp. A lot of content creators have placed videos on YouTube and other videos, and you see what's going on with the library being shut down by the SEC. We're not shut down, but lawsuit. WhatsApp has a video feature. So would the future of earning for content creators be possible through through LetsGo on WhatsApp, so that people can get commissioned or paid for video content they create, and then not be subject to Google's or YouTube's rules, where they shut people down at random?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. I hadn't actually thought of it, but that's the kind of thing where people come to us with ideas, and I was like, oh, well, you should create a module that works with the ecosystem, because what you'll be able to do is use the APIs of our bot to make that possible. So you can connect everything we're doing, you make your own module, and we can give you a set of text commands that people can use. And people would basically like, let's say we called it, V video or something like that, and you have the name of that would be the name of your bot that communicates with our bots that does all these different things, and somebody would just need to type in V video, and those commands would be activated. So there'd be a whole new set of commands that are now part of the system that people can type in, and it just makes it so easy to for people to use your product. And of course, you have to really think about the user experience. um, WhatsApp does have buttons that are very simple. So you can have like a yes or no or a click to approve kind of things. Um, they're adding more things. There'll probably be drop down menus. There'll be a bigger, sort of more robust interface that they're building, because all these big social media companies are trying to do what WeChat did by making a super app that does all of these different things. So we're basically building an ecosystem of bots that work like WeChat, but they don't work in just a single app. They work in all of them. So that way, because a lot of people use all of them, right? You want to have access to your money or your crypto in Discord and in Facebook and in Instagram and in all these different places, because companies are monetizing or making videos or doing different things, selling NFTs. They want to sell NFTs in multiple areas. If we only focused on one, it would be so much less powerful. So we want that bot to have people have access to the same wallet in all their different social media spaces. So it's going to be incredibly powerful for small business to be able to use crypto, because it's a system of global bots and a system of global money. The two things together are extremely powerful.
Great. So thank you. So I just wanted to bring that up to see, being a content creator, I wanted to get your take on that. The other thing I want to get a take on next is, you said this word 4 times so far, Orwellian. Um, you know, I'm looking at some of the comments made by the SEC chief Gary Gensler this week, that the U.S. controls all Ethereum. You know, and I'm like, and then you said earlier that it looks like maybe the corporations are trying to take over. Um, how do they go in alignment, and um, where where do you think the digital diplomacy is missing, or where do you think that exists if it does?
Well, the reason that they can take over is because there's not enough people using it, or not enough people care. And every bull run, a whole bunch of newbies come in, and then they all get rugged. They all get rug pulled basically by the system, right? They all buy at the top. They all finally decide once there's a new high, they all start coming in, and of course it drops down, and then they all sell. And so all this money is being sucked out of the system by people that are patient and more smarter and understand this crash and boom cycle. Um, that's not good for crypto, right? We need to have something that's more stable. We need to get a lot of people in, and have them actually start using it. The reason they're not using it is because it's just too complicated. MetaMask is too complicated for people to use. The system we have has both custodial and non-custodial wallets. So the laws right now, as they stand, with the licenses that we have in Costa Rica, which is where this is based, allow us to take custody of people's crypto up to $1,000 a month incoming without KYC. We can't do it for U.S. citizens. With U.S. people, we have to do a little bit of KYC, just getting a government ID and an email address, and we already know their phone number because it's WhatsApp. But we just do a minimal amount. There's actually no law requiring us to do it, but that allows us to do this 20-second onboarding. And for most of the world, $1,000 a month is all they ever need. So the real target market for this is trying to get in millions of people who once they're using the system and like crypto, don't trust their governments and don't trust their banks. We want them to fight against this Orwellian approach of trying to force them all to use these central bank digital currencies and to use these Orwellian systems where you have to know, where basically the government gets to know who's sending and who's receiving, because they don't know now, right? If you hand $20 in cash to somebody, for all through history, the government didn't know. We've always had financial privacy until we went digital. So now the governments are coming in and claiming, that they need to know who who's doing everything, and citing terrorism and all this kind of stuff as their basis for doing this. In reality, they want to put themselves in the middle because there's all these financial entities that want to take their cut every time something is done, and they don't want the cut to go. They don't want the middlemen removed from the system. So we're in this really scary position right now where just a handful of people, basically in the it really comes down to there's a handful of people in the United States that are making these incredibly important decisions, and there's a few people fighting for freedom, and then a whole bunch of people that don't understand the system, and they don't understand what they're voting for. In my opinion, they're just very old people that are used to this idea of that we need to trust banks, and we need to trust governments to have our best interests in mind. And all these technology companies around the world are scared to death of the SEC and are creating all their own internal rules and laws and blocking out US investors, and all the technology is being developed primarily in the United States, like the best stuff. So it puts the US and it in the forefront of all this, and put just a handful of people that are fighting on the behalf of freedom in a really important position. You can read their names, like Kirsten Gillibrand, and these kind of people are doing this incredible work. And basically it's possible that the entire future of humanity is being decided by like 3 or 4 people right now. Like Gensler is one of them, that are, if these people, depends on the arguments they make, and if they succeed or fail, if they can convince enough senators, and enough people in government who are, most people are like in their 70s now, right, that are making these decisions. They can barely use a cell phone. They don't understand like what's like this technology that they're creating laws around. And so the way around this, the government moves really slow. It's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to lose our freedoms overnight. But the people are lined up to take away all our financial freedoms over the next 5 or 6 years. So for me, it's a race to get the right technology into the hands of as many people as we possibly can, so they don't want it taken away. It's like absolutely vitally important that everybody that loves crypto gets their friends into it, and we're trying to basically create systems to make that really easy.
So you mentioned CBDCs and trust, right? How do you think the CBDCs will have a role in either creating a greater trust deficit or solving the trust deficit? And what action do you think we need to take in order to minimize the impact of that?
Well, people should just, number one, people should refuse to use them. They should tell their Congress people to vote against it. They should be clear on the dangers of having the governments around the world involved in every transaction. It's just a simple argument. The governments have never needed to know who was giving money to who before, and they don't need to now. And there's other, the arguments that they have about terrorism and child pornography and all this kind of stuff just hold no water, because they have other ways to go after people. It doesn't have to be by inserting themselves into every single transaction and making every single human being on the planet lose our financial privacy. That's not the good solution. And so there needs to be a big fight to by as many people as possible to not let those freedoms taken away, because with all this stuff in the news, and the news is so fear driven, it's so geared towards splitting people into left and right and up and down and black and white and all this kind of stuff. It's all, they have all these AI algorithms that are designed to find people's hot button issues and make people upset and angry, so that they're paying attention and feed on our tribal nature. People need to understand what's happening and fight against it. Europe is leading that fight right now, where they've started to realize that AI algorithms are potentially really dangerous as far as being able to help create content that gets people addicted to their phones and addicted to products, addicted to just watching garbage, like way worse than television ever was. You can see it, like everybody that has kids knows it's a battle every day to try to keep your kids off too much phone time, and most people are not even aware. The battle is being lost. There's whole entire populations in the world where the kids are walking around. You see them here in Costa Rica. All the kids have phones day and night, and they're walking around with their heads bent. It's crazy, like the TikTok thing that's happening, and it's really incredible, like how bad it is in many ways. Like the addiction to media and this technology, and how AI is driving this, and where it's all kind of going. It's scary. And so all this technology is not going to stop. It's going to keep going forward. And so we need to make sure that it's harnessed for human benefit, and in ways it's bringing us together and giving us freedom, while at the same time not giving corporations the freedom to use AI to turn us into virtual slaves.
And like, are these companies actually intentionally like not promoting and hiring the best of the best, so that crypto would fail because because the technology leaders aren't there?
Well, I mean, that's a big, talking about like hiring diversity and stuff like that. There's advantages both ways, right? If you're always hiring the people with the most experience, then sometimes there's certain groups that are target markets that may not, their views and their ways of looking at the world and how they may use your product may not be well represented. And so, for example, a lot of companies are trying to hire more female developers, but there's just not that many, right? And because they know that female developers will focus more on will give them a competitive advantage creating products that appeal more to female users. So there's something to be said for both ways of thinking about hiring. So I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at with your question, but it's not
Yeah,
something
no,
that's
I just
my
wanted to
area of
know.
expertise as much.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on are these companies who are trying to take over intentionally not pursuing it, although they say they are. So, um, that's the question I just have. But
Well, I think that
yeah.
everything's always in chaos. Like anybody who's trying to run a company knows that everybody kind of does what they want all the time. You never have a bunch of robots working for you. You have to get people to align their values with your values as a leader in the company. You have to get them, if you want to do well, you need to get them excited to want to work really hard and work effectively, and wanting to win, and so you have to sell them on a good vision for the company, that this is going to be successful. People want to be a part of something that's successful and that they believe in. And people are hungry for leadership, so they want to work for leaders that not just treat them well, but are just the type of leaders that inspire them. And so, um, who you hire and how you hire, it really depends so much on the personality of the person that's doing it. And it's the same thing with cryptos, right? That the leaders of creating a crypto, know that it's really important to have a community, and the vibe of that community reflects so much on the people, on the leaders, and the type of people that are attracted to their leadership style. And there's many ways to lead. There's something to be said for just being a dictator and just scaring the crap out of everybody. That is a leadership style that works. There's other types of leadership that's more like, hey, let's all just have a, rainbows and ponies. And some people are very motivated by that. Let's all just do this together, and it's all big love fest. And then there's everything in between, and other types of things. So it's a lot of different. There's no one style that works, and that's why human beings are so different. Is because evolutionarily tribes of people that had a wide diversity of ways of thinking would do really well. We need these kind of people that are super brainiacs and are very hyper focused and kind of OCD on inventing new technologies and have fantastic memories. But you also need like the people that are really creative and are really intuitive, because those, when you have a discussion, you have more different viewpoints. That tribe is able to survive better than people that are all thinking the same way and will all go in the wrong direction. So having a diversity of ideas, I think, is an advantage to a company in many cases. It's an advantage to a company like Facebook that's trying to be everything to everybody. But if you're trying to just create like some sort of hardcore technology, you probably just want the biggest geeks you can possibly find that are really good at coding, regardless of any other factor. You're just building products for somebody, then the diversity in hiring and that kind of thing probably doesn't matter at all.
That makes sense, and that ties into what you said. I believe what you said about Europe. And my question earlier about digital diplomacy. You say Europe's leading the way. I know you pay attention to different countries like Venezuela, like El Salvador, and what are your thoughts on how things are going digitally in Ukraine?
Are you talking about Ukraine or just all these countries at once?
Ukraine, because well, no, Ukraine, more so Ukraine now, because all the things that you mentioned is what I kind of see there, as far as their digital infrastructure. So I wanted to see what you thought, if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, there's so many brilliant Ukrainian people. Like, from a war perspective, Ukraine is like the last country you'd ever want to go to war against, because when you've got a country of people that are so smart, they're really well educated. There's so many really intelligent, organized people. I have so many friends that are Ukrainian. They're all so bright, and that is not a country you'd want to ever try to pick a fight with. They're very much like Koreans. Koreans are the same way, right? They're very success oriented. They're really organized and stuff. And it's no surprise to me that Russia is having such a hard time. And despite all their advantages and massive advantages in so many different ways, it really comes down to the people, right? And so if you're looking at a technology perspective, Ukraine has this incredible advantage. They've got this really good education system, some of the best mathematicians in the world, a whole set of universities devoted to technology. And if you go on to Fiverr and Upwork, you find so many Ukrainians that are so good. All the Ukrainians we hired are always really good. They're always really honest. The ones we worked with anyway. Um, and that's really speaks well for the Ukrainians and their future. I'm sure that they're going to win this war, and they've got so much attention. It's going to be really good for their future. They're going to end up joining Europe, and people are going to when a country gets a lot of world focus, then I think it's just good for them. People are talking about Ukraine after this is over. I think that there will be a lot more people going to Ukraine to support them, and going into hire people. But right now, the way it is, I work with people every day. They're in Ukraine, and we have one team that was based in Odessa, and a lot of them got out at the beginning of the war, and now they're in Prague or other countries, or in the U.S. They don't want to go back because if they go back, then they may get conscripted, have to go fight, right? And they've got the support. They got they're software developers. They don't want to go. That's not their advantage. There's got to be people bringing in cash into the country too. So, for the government to be of Ukraine, they need money, right? These guys are providing a lot of income for the country by doing software development. And there's a lot of Ukrainians in Dubai. I spend a lot of time there. Everywhere you go, there's really smart Ukrainians doing something. And it's pretty much like as many Ukrainians out there as there are Russians. Like you go in, like before all this happened, all Ukrainians and Russians were all like best friends running around together in Dubai. And I don't know really how much that's changed. When I kind of bring it up with them, it's kind of like they don't really want to talk about it. And I have had a few Ukrainians tell me like they basically hate Russians now, and they have a couple of friends, but they just sort of blocked them out just because so many Russians have been supporting the war on Ukraine, and so they've really angry about it. It's created, unfortunately, it's creating like a generational, multi-generational hatred that's going to last 100 years probably. What's going on there, and but from a technology perspective, man, the Ukrainians are great, are amazing, and are only going to get better because this is giving more of them an opportunity to like earn money and a motivation to earn money. And I know, like, I have a Ukrainian software developer friend in Dubai. He has a whole team of Ukrainians, and he's putting all the money he's making into supporting like the orphans and stuff. He has a whole project. There's so many orphans that have been kids that don't have parents, or kids that have been lost from separated from their parents in Ukraine. There's thousands and thousands of them that their parents have been killed by the Russians, not just civilians, but their parents fighting in the war. And sometimes both the mother and the father are fighting in the war, and the grandparents are taking care of the kids. And so he's putting and a lot of people are giving him jobs. So his company's growing, because people know what he's doing, and so they're giving him jobs. It's their way of supporting. One of their way of supporting Ukraine is by hiring Ukrainians. And there's I think a lot of that going on. I think a lot of people are now are favoring Ukrainian firms over others. So I don't know. That's just my own perspective and what I've seen. It's anecdotal evidence, but um, I don't know why you asked me about Ukraine. Maybe you're just personally interested, but yeah, I, I know I have a lot of Ukrainian friends, really good close friends, and so we don't talk about the war because I just don't want to. I know it's very upsetting to them, and I don't really ask too much because they want to focus. Like it's really psychologically, it's very very disturbing what's happening to them and their families, and the horror stories that they're hearing when every time they reconnect with their families and friends there, and the way they're having to live, and their families are living with bombs just going off at shopping mall, being dropped onto shopping malls and stuff, and all over the country where they don't really just never know. I mean, this is it's a massive terrorist attack basically on the whole country of sort of random missile attacks so that nobody feels safe, and they're all affected by that. So anyway, did come here to talk about Ukraine, but it's an interesting subject.
I told you I'd ask you about some interesting subjects today. Um,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I'm almost done my book on Ukraine. I've interviewed 14 people from there, and it's what I've seen. We talked about leadership lessons and stuff like that, and digital and Orwellian and all that stuff, and they're very effective in what they've done. So um, I have one
Yeah,
final
and
question.
Ukraine's definitely. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Ukraine's not a perfect country, right? There's a lot of mafia influence. There's an oligarchy there to some extent, but it's a lot better than Russia. They do have freedom. They do and did have a lot of freedom there, and it's in one of these countries that's developing to become more and more like Europe. Poland, Romania, all these countries are in a very similar position once they escaped from underneath the Iron Curtain, and Ukraine is in the same path of, I think, moving upwards. But this war is going to help. A lot of the infrastructure is destroyed and stuff, but I think the spirit of the people is really improved, and they're going to get a lot of attention and help once this is all over.
I agree. And I have two quite final questions. The first one is this: I just want to get a status update on La Liga.
So La Liga is, they dropped their main sponsor, which was Banco Santander. And when we basically got the deal with them, Santander came in and said, "Oh well, you can't promote this globally. You can't do global press release. We don't want to be associated with any crypto companies yet, even though they had some crypto and blockchain initiatives going on with their bank." So it's a lot of people. It was one of the, I think, like the biggest mainstream adoption deal in history in crypto, because La Liga has 2 billion fans, and our logo is being shown now across a lot of the Middle East, all of Asia, to like 800 million people or something like this. But we were not allowed to talk about it. Like we could talk about it, but it all happened before we could really line up. This kind of happened last minute. And it kind of before we could line up all the big influencers and stuff to really talk about it. We couldn't do the press releases we wanted and stuff. So this huge event that was really important in the history of crypto, nobody really found out about it. And so it didn't help us as much as it should have from the Divi perspective. Now, when it did from behind the scenes, it helped us. It's, right now we're in the middle of talking with all of these global brands and companies that want to work with us because La Liga did. And so we're in all these discussions, but that's also difficult because whenever what happens is when the crypto is all going up, all of a sudden these people don't really know much about crypto, but they're being told by like, we got to get into crypto. We need a crypto plan. We need a blockchain plan. We need an NFT plan. We need a DeFi plan. Then the whole market crashes, and then everybody's like, oh, crypto. Let's we'll just push that off until the next bull run. And so, but we're basically lining all this stuff up for Divi right now that will be ready for the next bull run. I mean, when the next bull run happens, Divi is going to be like you would not believe, like the stuff that's probably going to happen for Divi. So unfortunately, it's like nothing. We don't have these things signed. They're all in discussion, but all these companies know they need to get into crypto under the next bull run because all the young people want it, and everybody wants the young users because they drive the markets for adoption of new products and all this kind of stuff. Like nobody thought, all the old people thought, oh, nobody's ever gonna use that, but for dancing. But now every single company in the world is having to have a TikTok plan because of these younger users get the older ones using it, which gets the older ones using it, and it works its way up. And crypto is the same thing, right? Younger users love crypto, they love NFTs, they don't like banks, they don't like government currencies, they want financial freedom, they want all this stuff. So these companies are smart enough to know that, and so they all have to have a crypto plan. And Divi, we've got the best wallet in the world, the Divi wallet, and we've also got the LetsGo, the Divi Go wallets. We basically have the two best wallet ecosystems that cover different things, different markets. So we're this amazing position. We would have been like a massive. I think we would have been a massive unicorn already if the market hadn't dropped out. Because all these companies we were talking with have now put their plans on hold until the next bull run. Some of them are have enough foresight to know, like, it takes a while to build this stuff. So we'll see what happens in the next several months. But things look very, very, very good for Divi right now, despite what it looks like. You can see, I mean, it's even reflected in our price when you can see that Divi's fallen a lot less than all of our competitors. I actually keep thinking I need to make a chart to like compare us with Bitcoin, Ethereum. But the last time I made a chart like that, we've fallen, but we'd fallen less than everybody that we considered that was in our neighborhood of competitor, which speaks a lot, to the way people that know about Divi feel about it.
I had told you via message that that I lost all my money in June. It was all in Celsius, but
Oh,
there's no time
geez.
like the
I wish you had
present.
talked to me. I could have warned you a long time ago that Celsius was was a really bad place to have any money. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well, I
was
learned
warning
that.
people I knew because I know people that were deep inside the organization that were warning me a year and a half ago, were warning other people, like they had left the organization and said, this is not like something that is well done. The people don't have the interest of the users at heart and stuff, and we're warning people. But everybody else has to worry about being sued and this kind of stuff. So it's only so much that word of mouth can spread. But people that asked me or sellers, I was like, get your money out of there. That's a giant accident waiting to happen. And same thing with Luna, right? If people would tell me they were buying Luna, I'm like, are you lunatic? I mean, this is crazy, like, and a lot of people feel that way about Shiba, which I don't feel about. Shiba is to me, it's just another Bitcoin. You know, Shiba has a community of people that like it. It's got, it's based on, it doesn't have its own technology, so which is an advantage. it's a pure brand play, and brand is worth more than technology. So I don't have any Shiba, but I always tell people, like, if I was going to buy something, or if you asked me to what to recommend, I would put a bet on Shiba. And the reason is that Shiba's proven that even in this down market, it hasn't really fallen as far as people think it should. All these, all the Bitcoin OGs think it has no value and that nobody would own it. Nobody should own it. But really, it has more holders, and I think, than any other cryptocurrency except for Bitcoin. And most of those people are newbies. And when the next bull run happens, all the newbies are going to be asking their newbie friends what to buy, and they're all going to be telling them to buy Shiba because they have it and they like it. They think that dog is cute and they think they like the name. So I think Shiba has like phenomenal potential to go up. I should buy some, actually. I've said this like 100 times. I keep saying, oh, I should just go buy some, but and I don't really invest in cryptocurrency. I invest in my own stuff. Investing in
Mhm.
technology and marketing for that technology. And so that's like, I have Lightning Works right now. I'm doing digital comic books, and we have this whole world of stuff. We're trying to be the new Marvel of Web3, and so we have this incredible. We have a Marvel and mostly Marvel and DC artists that are doing all of our art, and it's done. It's all interactive. It's animated. We have these incredible iconic characters we're creating with all this backstory. It's like this world in the NFT space that nobody's ever seen before. Like people like do a JPEG, right? A bunch of versions of a JPEG, and they try to get a whole bunch of money so they can try to build the stuff that we've already done, right? We've been doing it for years, building all these characters and comics, and it's just like this gigantic universe that we're putting together, like the Marvel universe, right? And so people don't know what to make of it in the NFT space, but we're just finding out. We're starting to have this huge organic rush just in the last few days. Everybody's wanting to do AMAs with me now, and people are starting to tweet about it, and so it's really starting to catch on. So I would, if you're somebody that's
Good.
listening about this, if you're interested, if you like comics and Marvel, if you're interested in NFTs, then come into our Discord. It's just discord.gg/lightningworks. Lightningworks here. And we have we're making everything really user friendly. All our stuff's going to work in WhatsApp. You're going to have your NFTs. You can just hold them in WhatsApp. You can see them there. You don't have to download any apps. You don't have to go download a LightningWorks app to do it. You have to learn anything. Everything just buy NFT. That's how you buy an NFT. Just type it in, and it's so easy and it's so different what we're doing that I think people will be very excited about it. And we're only selling 777 of these. Like most people are doing collections of 10,000. We're only doing 777 because we want to basically have a lot of power users we start with, and we're going to give a lot of utility and functionality and value to these original NFTs. We think that's a better place to be than trying to have this giant. We've just seen it fail. Like almost every project fails, except for a handful of Bored Apes projects. 10,000 is just way too many. So, and it's just a cash grab. What we're doing is really scalable. It's scalable and sustainable. And I've proven with Divi, I know how to do this. Divi is one of the most successful ICOs of its era, and we created. We're like 60 million market cap. We only raised 2.6 million. So we've created a tremendous amount of value through two ICO winners without ever really having any money, because we understand gamification and we understand what people want and the marketing parts, and how to make things user friendly. So because we're product focused. So if people are interested in NFTs, please, like this, come and look at the opportunity we have. I can't make promises about what it's going to do, but please take a look at the opportunity. I'm really excited about it and really passionate about it. So I think you'll like what you see if you come and take the time to take a look at it.
I'm definitely going to check it out. I do have like I say 800, 900 collectibles. So, I have been able to hold on to those. So I want to thank you very much for your time today. This has been a wonderful conversation. And I do have one final question, and it's this. How can people find out more information about you, about Divi, about Let's Go, about Lightning Works? How can they do that?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is you can go to lightningworks.io website. You can go to diviproject.org website. We have letsgo.cr website, but it doesn't have a lot of information. But there's always contact information, and you can find me. I'm all over the internet. So you just type in my name, I'm going to come up everywhere. My photo, so you'll recognize me and know you have the right Geoff McCabe. There's not that many of us. It's like 4 or 5, right? And I'm more public, so it's easy to find me. But yeah, but I would love to be able to, if you're doing a project, if you have a crypto project and you're looking for partners, especially like NFT stuff right now, we're doing a lot of collaborations, and the LetsGo ecosystem is being built in a specific way to make it really easy to partner with us. So if you have a project and you're trying to figure out how to kind of go global with it, and it's something that's beneficial to people and is good technology, contact me and I'll definitely look into it or show you how you can connect with what we're building.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on the show.